My parents skipped my wedding but showed up for my divorce. When I got engaged to Hannah, I was over the moon. She was kind, funny, and made me feel like I could finally build a life of my own, away from all the judgment I grew up with. My parents never liked her. They said she was too emotional, too independent, too different. Basically, they meant she didn't fit into the box they built for me since childhood. I begged them to come to the wedding anyway. I sent them an invitation, called, even drove to their house to talk face to face. My mom said, "We're not blessing a mistake." My dad just stared at me and said, "Don't expect us to sit through a disaster." So I got married without them. It wasn't a big wedding. 30 guests, a rented barn, fairy lights, and a playlist Hannah and I made together. But when I looked out at the seats that were supposed to be reserved for my parents, all I saw were 2 empty chairs. Hannah squeezed my hand during our vows and whispered, "You have me now." And for years, I believed that was enough. But marriage isn't magic. We had our ups and downs, and after 5 years, it felt like we were 2 strangers living parallel lives. The final straw came when she found a text from my coworker, a stupid, careless message that wasn't cheating, but close enough to break her trust. She left 2 days later. No yelling, no drama, just silence. When the divorce hearing came, I didn't tell my parents. I figured they wouldn't care. But when I walked into that cold courtroom, I saw them sitting right there. My mother in her usual pearl earrings, my father with his arms crossed, both dressed like they were attending a Sunday service. For a second, I thought maybe they came to support me. Maybe they'd finally changed. Maybe they wanted to see if I was okay. Then my mom smiled and said, "We just wanted to make sure you learned your lesson." My stomach dropped. My dad added, "Sometimes failure is the only way kids grow up." They didn't come to comfort me. They came to witness me fall. I sat there numb, signing the papers that ended my marriage while my parents watched like it was the ending they'd been waiting for. Hannah didn't look at me once. When it was over, she walked out quietly. My parents stood, said, "Let's grab lunch," as if we'd just attended a school meeting. I didn't answer. I walked to my car, sat there, and cried until my chest hurt. Not just for losing Hannah, but for realizing that my parents never wanted me to be happy. They just wanted to be right. That night, I deleted their number. Not out of anger, but out of peace. Some people only show up when they can say, "I told you so." And I finally understood that healing sometimes means letting go of those who only come to watch you fall apart. Weeks later, I found an old wedding photo that someone had left in a drawer. It was of me and Hannah dancing, smiling like the world had finally gone quiet. In the background, 2 empty chairs sat in perfect focus, untouched. That picture broke me more than the divorce papers ever did. It reminded me that I had spent my whole life chasing validation from people who were never going to give it. Now, when people ask if I miss my parents, I tell them the truth. I miss the idea of them, the version of them that loved without condition, that clapped for me when I took a risk. But that version never existed. It was just the hope of a son who didn't know how to stop trying. I still keep that photo on my desk, not because of what I lost, but because of what it taught me. Sometimes the people who raise you aren't meant to walk beside you forever. And sometimes love isn't about who shows up. It's about who stays when you fall apart.